Yo, what's going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back from the OPTC video, and in today's video, Treasure Map Who's Who is 24 hours away, and in today's video, we're breaking down what each stage does, giving you guys some buildable teams, as well as my teams that I'll be using to speed my way through this particular treasure map. As always, we will be streaming when the treasure map goes live. I do have to work now, though, so I usually start about an hour after the treasure map goes live. It's a bit unfortunate, but unfortunately it is what it is. When it comes to real life stuff's always going to come before the game, but I do appreciate the patience, and hopefully you guys will be there for the streams. Hit the bell notification over here on YouTube so you get notified whenever I am streaming, or go down to the description below, hit me up with a follow on Twitch, as we kind of drop and change a little bit there. Lately we've been on YouTube, but who knows, we might move back to Twitch if the demand's there as well. But, like I said, in today's video, we are going to break down treasure map Who's Who, and we're going to be showing some buildable teams over here on the treasure map planner. If you guys don't know what this is, link in the description. Make sure to go over and use this tool. It's very, very good. Big shout out to them, as well as a shout out to the database for the images provided. Before we continue though, if you guys enjoyed this kind of stuff, make sure to belt the like button for me if you're new to the channel and you haven't done so already. Hit that big red subscribe button. With that said, let's take a look at treasure map Who's Who. So this character right here, this int treasure map Who's Who, this is who we'll be farming for right up here. He's a pretty interesting character. What he actually does, we should be able to find him right here. I did put him on a team just because. He basically boosts powerhouse characters' attack by 2.5, HP by 1.2, and if you limit break expand him, he's a 3.75 times attack boost to powerhouse characters, and then he reduces special cooldown of the character by 5 turns at the start of stage 2. So, very interesting little mechanic of giving cooldowns, just like CatDog. His special deals 15% of enemies' current HP and a HP cut, removes beneficial orb effects and non-beneficial orb debuff duration by 5 turns, and then changes block into matching. If your captain is strength, dex, or quick, reduces the cooldowns of powerhouse characters by 1 turn, boosts the attack of powerhouse characters by 2.25 for 1 turn, locks all orbs for 1 turn, and if your captain is a Psi or in character, reduces the cooldown of powerhouse characters by 2 turns, and then reduces enemies' powerhouse resistance by minus 15% for 1 turn. So a bit of a mouthful of special. A bit interesting that you can use him with a strength, dex, quick, or a Psi and in captain. Does different stuff depending on what it is, but this right here reduces beneficial orb buff and non-beneficial orb debuff duration by 5 turns. We have only seen this part here in Sabo Koala and in, I think it's Garb. Garb's level limit break. However, now we're getting a free-to-play character that does it, which kind of leads me to believe that it could be a little bit scary with these non-beneficial orb debuffs moving forward. But it's kind of cool that we have a free-to-play character. He's very, very good in my opinion. I think he's an amazing character. He's a great addition for powerhouse teams. He's a good leader at 3.75. Not a crazy leader, but a good leader. But namely, because he can actually give cooldowns and give a resistance debuff if your captain is Psi or Int, which has a lot of options there. He reduces his own cooldown by 2 turns when you're rewinded, which is great. And if this character has an Int orb when you attack, he increases the attack buff by 0.2 times. So, very good Sailor abilities. Very good free-to-play character. Powerhouse driven. Super, super interesting, so definitely farm him up. But let's take a look at the mini-bosses. You'll be fighting Who's Who as your intrusion, but first of all, you'll be taking on X-Drake. X-Drake gives everyone 5 turns of cooldown. He has 1.8 million HP, 6,000 attack, and preemptive he gives you a 70% HP cut. Very, very nice. 70% HP cut, not exactly ideal. He has 3 turns of threshold, and then he gives you 8 turns, which will go down to 5 turns for your row 2 and your row 3. So your sailors will cop the blind. Now, the character they recommend here is this ulti. This ulti is the character that they are recommending you use. However, I'm actually using ulti on the team that I'm recommending to you guys today. Basically, she's here because she can remove the threshold and she gives a chain buff. With the team that I'm showing you guys, you could easily put ulti on this team. But for the team that I actually have here, oh, you need this Rayleigh support. We're using Luffy Ace as our captain. They're a free spirit shooter captain. If you have them limit break expanded, they're a 4 times if you have a beneficial orb, which is super, super nice. Plus, you can hybrid them up with this guy right here. You can basically use any free spirit captain. Honestly, like, if you can find, like, you can use another Luffy and Ace, don't get me wrong, but you can use, no, K-Dad, you're not a free spirit captain. What am I doing? If you can find, like, any free spirit unit over here, Koala could be a really good option. You could use Bon Clay. Like I said, you can use this Sanji. All of them are going to work really, really well. I put Sanji here because X-Drake, he has type advantage over X-Drake. But it's up to you guys, whichever way you want to go about it. If you need to, you can just run 2 Luffy and Aces. Like, it is definitely an option. However, Sanji is just a stronger captain and has color affinity. To get around the threshold on this team, we have this Zoro. He removes it by 3 turns, I think. Or no, he's 6 turns. And then he's also an orb booster. Luffy and Ace, they're an attack and a color affinity booster. And then I literally just put Garp here so you can get yourself some matching orbs. That way you have that 4 times captain and it's just easy peasy. You also have a better like orb boost. You have the super type of this guy here as well, which is going to work really, really nicely. And then you just basically have 2 extra slots to fill out whatever you guys want. Now, in today's video, I'm not including any of the KDAD batch. I'm not, as you guys can see, I'm not including any of the treasure map units, the Zoro batch, any of that stuff, including Big Mom's batch as well. But if you guys have those units, you could easily slide them on, right? Like these 1.35 boosters, like you could easily just chuck them on just to get more points down here. Because at the end of the day, you just want to get to that 10 million as quickly as possible. However, you could also do some really cool stuff like wave clearing shenanigans, right? You could use something like Opera. You could use something like Daifuku. You could use something like Treasure Map Zoro if you want to take this guy off. And this team, it's going to work fairly nicely. But for now, we're just going to chuck on some like high point boosters that are pretty accessible. We'll put the ulti here. She's a chain booster. That's something that this team's actually missing. And as for everything else, there's no real other like buffs that we need to give the team. Besides maybe, what's it called? Besides some base stats. So we're going to put Bond Clay there. Because just like, why the hell not, right? This team's going to work fairly nicely. 4.53 if you have Bond Clay. But like I said, you don't need Bond Clay there. He's just for more damage. Moving on to page 1 now. Page 1 gives you 5 turns of cooldowns for your slashes, free spirit, and fighter characters. Again, 1.8 million HP, 6,000 attack. He gives you a full board of badly matching orbs, 2 turns of hunger, 5 turns of attack down, 3 turns of color orbs are unfavorable, and then 99 turns of poison immunity. This particular Brook is the recommended character here. They recommend you guys use this particular Brook. He's very, very good. He removes the 5 turns of attack down, or 6 turns, with his super evolution, and then he changes adjacent orbs into recovery and his own orb into a tandem slot. He then lets you switch orbs for 2 turns and makes perfect easy to hit, and then gives you base stats as well. Super, super nice ability, but that gets around not only the attack down, but also gets around this particular mechanic here, because you have 4 units that actually has the tandem and recovery orbs. He also makes tandem recovery beneficial as a sailor, so that's why we have him as a sailor here, not as a captain, because he has this sailor ability. And then if you just hybrid him up with this particular Sabo, this Sabo makes adjacent orbs into tandem slots. So you have a full board of tandem orbs, you have a full board of recovery orbs, and you have a chain boundary at 3.0 going up to 5, and a base stat boost, which is super nice. I slapped on Zoro and Sanji as my captain. They're basically just here because they're a very strong Dex captain. No real other reason, but you can use any other Dex captain that you like. I put on Zoro as the friend captain. If you have Zoro, bring Zoro. But if you guys don't, bring a friend captain. He's going to do bits. If you can't, you can just hybrid up another Sanji and Zoro. But look, you have a lot of options here too. You have Koala as a very, very good Dex captain. Hell, you could even put this bloody Kaido there if you really wanted to. But this team's going to do like absolute work. And for the sake of the argument, we're just going to fill the rest of the team out with some free spirits, with some slashes, because that's who Zoro actually boosts. But like I said, you guys can put on pretty much anyone that you guys like. You can even use Izo Kiku here. Izo Kiku is going to be a good wave clearer. You could just replace one of these units with a wave clearing unit. All of that stuff, it's all going to work pretty hunky-dory. These 2 fights here are pretty much covered with like very limited units, which is very, very nice to see. They also recommend Chopper over here, but look, Chopper's very good for these fights, for these teams anyway. Moving on to ulti now, the recommended characters are Kid and Killer. So we did use Kid, mainly to get around this particular shenanigans here, but I did leave out Killer. Now, everyone pretty much should have picked up Kid from Super Pirate Rumble, and then obviously Kazuna. So I do think he's quite an accessible unit for a buildable team. In this particular fight, Driven, Slashes, and Powerhouse characters get their cooldowns. Against ulti, she has the standard 1.8 million HP, 6,000 attack going upwards. As a preemptive, she gives you 5 turns of all colored orbs unfavorable. She puts up 7 turns of threshold, 6 turns of defense up, 3 million extra HP as a 3-turn barrier, 6 turns of resilience, as well as 99 turns of delay immunity. So she does a lot of very annoying things, but obviously with Kid and Killer, it's very easy to get around all this. With Kid's level limit break and E6+, you can easily get around the 7 turns of threshold. You can also give yourself super bomb slots, so that works very, very nicely. However, getting around the 6 turns of defense and the resistance is very, very annoying if you don't have Killer. And I haven't actually included Killer in these particular teams. So, if you guys have Killer, literally just replace Kara Wanda with Killer. But If you don't, and you have Carrot Wonder, you can just use Carrot Wonder here. Kid is a driven captain now with his 6+, but he's also a Dex captain, which works very, very nicely. You can actually use him to wave clear stage 1 and stage 2 with his super classes as well. His super types. And then you can, because we're using this law on the team, it actually activates that. No other reason, that's the only reason the law's here. He literally just activates the super type of Kid. You could use his special if you really want to, but like I said, it literally doesn't do anything. Carrot Wonder, they set the defense to 0. They're also a very good orb booster, but you can actually use this Dofi on the team. This Dofi is at 2.25 times orb boost to driven and cerebral characters, but then gives you a full board of block and super bomb orbs. But it doesn't really matter for this team because you're going to have super bomb orbs anyway, so that works quite nicely. And everyone on the team is actually cerebral or driven. Finally, we have this Crocodile, the Arena Croc. He actually just poisons the final stage, and the reason that's good is because that'll just get around this resilience here, resilience. Getting around the resilience with poison works very, very nicely, as there is no poison immunity, there's only delay immunity, so this team does well. Kid is an attack booster, you have an orb boost, you don't have color affinity here because your captain is an int, but if you guys don't have Kid maxed out, you could just use this Dofi as your captain, and then just find a way to get an extra turn of threshold removal. But with the 2 kids, even if you don't have him level limit break 5, or have him fully maxed out, you should be able to get around the threshold that way. Moving on to Sasaki now. Dex, Psi, and in characters get cooldowns. The standard 1.8 million HP, 6,000 attack. Preemptively gives you 5 turns of attack down, full board of block orbs, 5 turns of special bind, 1 turn of special cooldown for your middle and bottom row. And then he has 99 turns of normal attacks only and 99 turns of end of turn damage. If you use an affinity boost, he binds your second and third row and removes all of your buffs. Basically, Spring Halloween Ace. Halloween Ace just destroys this so freaking easily. You can easily use Halloween Ace as a wave clearer as well. I wouldn't recommend it because you actually have access to this Caesar. Caesar is a wave clearer. He's actually boosted this treasure map, which is fan-fucking-tastic. So you can just use him to just wave clear the first 2 stages, and it works very, very well. However, if you guys have Caesar and you don't have Crocodile, you can just put Caesar over here. That way you can use the poison. However, I would highly recommend using Caesar. He's one of the best wave clearers in the entire game, and he works very, very nicely. We have Who's Who on this team. He's just literally here for points. You can replace him with anyone that you like. But once you basically use Halloween Ace on this team, Halloween Ace just takes care of everything, right? He gets rid of the special binds, and he gets rid of the special reverse. The only thing he doesn't remove is the block orbs and the attack down, and that's where this Jack comes into play. Jack becomes your orb booster, and he also gives you attack down removal too, which is awesome. The next thing you'll have to worry about is the block orbs, and to get around that, we're using the Buggy's Delivery. You guys can use different characters as well to get around these very annoying strats. For example, to get around this fight here, you can use something like Halloween Shirahoshi. She's not boosted, but she gives you a starting board of rainbow orbs, and then using wave clear shenanigans, you can keep rainbow orbs, which then when you get to the final stage, you never have to worry about block orbs. It saves you a bit of time, but you do obviously sacrifice points. And for this particular part of the video, we are focusing on point gains, but nevertheless, these characters will give you a lot of points as well. If you guys have something like any of these characters up here, though, any of the Big Mom Batch, if you have Corazon and Law, obviously just put them in here somewhere. Probably put Corazon and Law where Who's Who is, just for more points. But otherwise, this team will work very well. Buggy's Delivery, he's your block orb manipulator, and it all works out super hunky-dory. Obviously, over here as well, too, if you have, K-Dad, you can use K-Dad here. K-Dad works really, really well. And over here, if you have some of these other units, you can move over Chopper. So these mini boss stages honestly weren't that challenging. These teams should work very, very nicely. I don't imagine there'll be too many issues. And to get to 10 million, you are looking at around 41 navigation runs. But taking a look at the crux of the video, we want to take a look at Black Maria, and we do want to take a look at Who's Who. So to get around Black Maria's shenanigans, I have put together a driven powerhouse sort of centric team. And it does look a little bit like this with a friend captain, Jinbei. So, Black Maria, on the first turn, gives your fighters powerhouse slashes cooldown by 5 turns. On stage 2, the enemy has 2 million HP and 6,600 attack. You get block orbs, 7 turns of despair, which will go down to 4, 3 turns of threshold, 5 turns of attack down, and 99 turns of delay immunity. Black Maria then has 3.5 million HP and starts at 9,600 attack. The preemptive gives you 5 turns of special seal, badly matching orbs, 10 turns of damage reduction, 5 turns of defense up, 5 turns of attack down, and then 99 turns of delay immunity. So let's break this down. On stage 2, to get around the block orbs, we are using the previous treasure map character that is Olin. Olin is going to remove the block obs. She gives you a chain lock as well, which is great. And she can remove the threshold too. Not that that matters too much, but getting around that threshold is actually pretty nice. We are looking at utilizing... Oh, hang on. Does she not get rid of the threshold? Does it say she gets rid of the threshold? Yeah, she does. She removes threshold damage reduction. I don't know why it doesn't come up when you click this. She doesn't actually come up. Either way, you'll have the super class of Jinbei as well. That will also remove 3 times the threshold, and that's kind of why it's here. To get around the Despair and the attack down, basically utilizing Chopper here works super, super nicely, because Chopper can actually remove Despair and attack down, which is just fantastic. On the next stage, on the final stage, with that too, sorry, by the way, you will also have a chain lock just to take out this stage, and it should work out pretty hunky-dory. You have a full board of matching orbs as well. You could probably put on a support on Big Mom as well if you really wanted to. I think this Katakuri, if you use an orb converting special, you can make powerhouse characters. You can give them attack boost. That's not essential, but like it's definitely another option for you if you do need more damage. Chopper, he might have some cheeky shenanigans stuff going on here as well. You could probably swindle on a support here to get some more damage output. Maybe something like the VV or I don't know. But like that that Katakuri is probably going to be the best option. On the final stage, to get around all these nasty shenanigans, Jinbei works wonders. He just removes the damage reduction, which is really, really nice. But that's pretty much all he does. He removes the damage reduction, doesn't do much else, but he is going to give you a chain boundary, which works out quite nicely, so that way you can actually get around the damage that you will need to take down Black Maria. For the special seal, we are going to use the Kaido, the free-to-play Kaido. He's also going to be a monstrous attack boost at 2.5 to our driven characters. However, we don't have a lot of driven characters on this particular team, which is a bit of a bummer. The only driven characters that we have are Sasaki, Black Maria, Big Mom, and Kaido, which means that poor old Jimbo will actually miss out on getting the attack boost, which is just a little bit of a shame. But as another option to remove the special binds, you don't have too many great options. You can use Mr. Jimbo himself and then get color affinity with this particular Jinbei. That is definitely an option. However, I am utilizing the Arena Sasaki to get around the attack down. Arena Sasaki actually has double special activation, if I remember correctly, and that way you can actually get around the 5 turns of attack down. He then also gives you color affinity to your powerhouse and your driven characters, which works very, very nicely. He also, he removes Despair and attack down as well, so you can actually utilize him on turn 2 if you want to, and then use Chopper on the final stage, and then bring Jinbei instead of this Kaido for some color affinity on the final stage, and that way at least you'll have another unit hitting with type advantage. But I feel like having the attack boost and the type advantage, just combine it two, is going to do more damage. The final unit on the team is the Zoro from the rice farming event. This guy is a powerhouse character, which is awesome. He has type advantage, and he actually sets defense to 0, which is great because there's no defense down immunity. He's a very, very good option for this. You could easily move him over to this kid team and bring Carrot Wonder over here if you really want to, but Carrot Wonder aren't going to get boosted, and it'll just sort of work better in the earlier stages, and it's only a 0.5 point difference, so I don't know if it's going to matter too much, but as you guys can see here, there's not that many options to actually take this down. You do have Uta, this free-to-play Uta, if you guys are missing this Zoro, but he's available in the Recollective Archive, so you can pick him up there. But if you have this Kiku, you can definitely use her as well, purely just for some more points. Same over here, you could put her right there as well. That would work wonders too. For the final stage, you'll have an attack boost with Kaido. You'll have a color affinity with Sasaki. You'll have a chain boundary with Jinbei. And unfortunately, you won't have an orb boost. Is this guy? This guy doesn't actually... Yeah, he actually does side damage. So what you could do here as well, you could actually put on Sanji. You could use this Sanji for sight orb boost as well. And that can give you a little bit more damage there. As for the final stage, you just want to hopefully, like... Oh, you're going to have badly matching orbs as well, actually. I just realized you have badly matching orbs. So we are going to have to find a way to get some matching orbs for the final stage. If I remember correctly... No, it must be the intrusion. We're going to have to find a way to get some matching orbs here, because it's going to be a bit of a bummer trying to do damage like that. We could also just give some supports to give some matching orbs though. There's definitely options like utilizing we could use, what's his name, Tesoro, this guy here. Sorry, we want to use we want to use Mr. Sanji here, and then we also want to use over here. This Tesoro, this free-to-play Tesoro changes int orbs into matching. Kaido's going to give himself a matching orb, and then you could easily do some stuff like this. You could do something like, I don't know, like this, and that way you just get matching orbs just passively. So that should work out pretty nicely. All of these are free to play, by the way, but like Sanji is probably the big one that it's like you're gonna need. So there's that. Moving on to Who's Who though. Against Who's Who, strength, psi, and in characters get their cooldowns. There's a full board of badly matching orbs, 3 turns of cooldown on your right hand column, 5 turns of paralysis on your second and third row, but just on the left, by the look of it. Like, from what I can see, like, the paralysis is just on the bottom two, like, yeah, it's weird. 5 turns of damage reduction at 90% and 99 turns of full immunity. Who's Who is going to put up 3.5 million HP and have 9,600 attack. He gives you a full board of badly matching orbs, and then will also do a 50% HP cut, 99 turns of normal attacks only, 5 turns of a chain reduction, 5 turns of chain boundary at under 2.8 times chain. You're going to do 90%, 90% less damage, which is very annoying. He puts up 6 turns of threshold, 3 turns of threshold, 6 turns of damage reduction, and then if you change your orbs, he gives you badly matching orbs again, 3 turns of threshold, and wipes away, and gives you 3 turns of bind. So, like, this guy does so much stuff on the final stage, and is so friggin' finicky to get around. But obviously, you really want to bring a friend Jinbei to get around all of this nasty stuff. Like, all this nasty stuff is very, very annoying. But on stage 2, to get around all these shenanigans, we're going to use Garp to get around the badly matching orbs. Garp, with our captain being Powerhouse and Fighter being Sanji. If you start as Sanji, you're a Powerhouse Fighter. So you get both effects of Garp here, which is really, really good. And that way you can get 2 turns of cooldown, and you get a full board of orbs, and you get an attack boost, which is super, super great. So that basically covers you for the cooldown reduction, as well as removing the badly matching orbs, and doing enough damage to take down this particular stage as well. To get around the damage reduction and the paralysis, it is a little bit of an annoyance. But to get around that, we are utilizing our good old friend Chopper for the paralysis. And then we have Kinemon and Denjiro to actually get around the damage reduction. You can actually bring a support to get around paralysis, though. Like, there are some options. But it's also dependent on if you actually have those particular options available, right? So to get around some paralysis here, you have Izo Kiku. Obviously, it's a treasure map unit, so like it's going to be a bit of a bummer to get your hands on that. You could utilize something like these here. Actually, you probably couldn't, to be honest, which is a bit of a shame. To get around the paralysis here, look, you don't really have anything else, right? Unfortunately, you're just going to have to use our good friend Chopper by the look of it. So, or you could use Raizo too. That's definitely an option. But Chopper's on this particular team to get around the paralysis. You could bring someone else, but like Chopper's a 1.35 times booster. You're going to want to bring him for the final fight. So as you can see here, you do have Jinbei as well. He's going to do more damage because he's just Jinbei. But Chopper, he's going to be your man. Chopper can also heal as well, which is super nice. Fortunately, the HP cut is on entry to the preemptive, so you're not going to go back to full HP and get access to Jinbei's crazy 3 times chain boost. However, with Chopper, you can actually, I forgot to actually put this on. You can tell I'm super prepared, right? You can actually put on, oh, you can't actually put on that. No, yes, you can. No, you can't. It's, well, actually, you can use this Nami, right? And you don't really have to worry, right? Because it's it should only be 2 units that get binded. So you could probably do this and just make sure that these 2 units get binded. And that way you don't have to worry about it too much and just kill with 4 units. But you have to wait and see how this actually looks, because then you can get a chain boost with this Nami for the final stage. You could actually just still use this Jinbei as well. Like, that's definitely an option as well. As a chain boosting character, you could definitely use this Momo. Oh no, you couldn't. Like, that's gonna activate on special. But like I said, like, If this is the bottom 2 lows, then you're going to be fine because you can just use Chopper on that stage. Chopper doesn't... He gives you end of turn healing, but he doesn't actually heal straight away, which is just a bit of a bummer, unfortunately. On the final stage as well, to get around the chain shenanigans here, we're going to be using Jinbei as well as getting around the damage reduction, and then his super type is actually going to get around the threshold, so that's super, super handy. With your captain being a powerhouse character as well, you actually have Big Mom. Big Mom heals 20% of your crew's max HP. Also, with Jinbei, he heals back 20% of your crew's maximum HP. Big Mom also gives you extra damage, to deal extra damage. Plus, Big Mom's actually going to be a chain lock, so she's actually just going to get around. You actually don't need this. I take it all back. I totally forgot that Big Mom's a chain lock. She's going to be a chain locking unit, and she's just going to put you above this anyway. And then Jinbei's going to be your attack booster, which is super, super nice. Finally, Zoro Sanji, they are actually a fighter powerhouse, like I said, when you are Sanji. And then when you use their special, because they do damage, you can actually utilize the Shanks support to give you a full board of Psy slots as well, which is super, super handy. But like you guys saw in the other particular teams, you can actually use Tesoro, this free-to-play guild Tesoro. He's going to turn all your Psy characters into matching orbs anyway, because he rotates in slots, so it's super, super nice. So they're the accessible teams, or the buildable teams, that I put together for you guys. Hopefully they help you guys out. I'll leave a picture at the end of the video. However, we're going to quickly fly through my teams now, for you whales out there, and for you speed demons that like to get the treasure map done fairly quickly. Alright, so huge shout out to the homie SimCity for sending me through his teams. Like I said, I was a bit unwell and didn't really have the headspace to be building teams, but my boy had my back and he sent through what he built, so shout out to you, Sim. I do appreciate all your hard work. So, let's start off at X-Drake. As I mentioned, the recommended characters are Chopper and Ulti. You get 5 turns of cooldown. And then the big thing you have to worry about here is the crewmate bind as well as the threshold. Utilizing Yamato as a captain, we just get around the bind. We don't even have to worry about it. And then bringing a character like Shirahoshi gives you a full board of rainbow slots at the start of the fight. And because you actually get cooldowns here, Opera is very, very nice because he's actually a very, very good wave clearer. The rest of the team, basically, once you get to the final stage, you just have to activate Zoro. Zoro is going to remove the threshold. He gives your free spirit and your side characters an attack and an orb boost. And literally with one special, you should be able to kill here. You can just put stats on the rest of the characters. The supports for the rest of the characters don't matter. Vivi just gives color affinity as well. And it works very, very nicely. So, yeah. Shout out to Sim. Huge, huge, huge. One special. Works like a dream. Moving on to the next fight, though, we come up against Page 1. Page 1 is a quick character. Quick character, and the recommended character is Brook. / a free spirit fighter character to get cooldown. You get Hunger, unfavorable slots, 90% attack down for 5 turns, and all color orbs are unfavorable. So bringing K-Dad here is amazing. K-Dad, you just super class for wave clear. You have Hunger removal with Brook. You have Hunger removal with Kawamatsu. I don't have my Brook rainbowed because I wanted to save a copy of his 5-star. And then you just have Zoro for some more damage. But literally, like, once you get to the final stage, if you just use K-Dad special with this Cat Viper, you get an attack and an orb boost. And with the Wano slots, you're going to be absolutely hunky-dory, no issues whatsoever. Onto Ulti now. Ulti's the interesting one where you want to bring Kid. However, we're going with the speed demons that are Neko and Inu. Or, as you guys saw, they're just straight Inu. To get around the threshold and the defense up, as well as the resilience and the damage barrier, you can utilize Cat Viper and Dogstorm as your captains, and that way you can just easily take down the threshold and you don't have to worry about the barrier, which works nicely. I am utilizing Killer here. Killer is going to be the character that we use on the final stage to get around the what's it called? The defense up. The defense up is the well, he's the recommended character. He's actually not doing anything now that I'm really thinking about it because I'm using the support of Mihawk. Utilizing the Mihawk support, actually, I forgot to actually put on Cat Viper once again. With the support of this Mihawk on any int / or any int free spirit, you can do a HP cut and you can set the defense to 0, which works absolutely phenomenally. With this particular Frankie, he's just a wave clearing character, and then so is Izo and Kiku. And then we keep the Wano slots from Hiyori to move into the final stage. So we literally just use Dogstorm special. Cat Viper gives the orb boost. And then we're pretty much hunky-dory from there. So don't even have to worry about the barrier. Don't even have to worry about the threshold. Don't have to worry about the resilience or the defense up either, thanks to the Mihawk support and the shenanigans that Dogstorm can provide. Onto the final mini-boss. Once again, Halloween Ace is a god here. He basically covers you for everything, but as you can see, the Big Mom batch is the recommended characters. Just don't use a color affinity boost, and you will be hunky-dory. As I mentioned, you can just wave clear with Caesar and then use this Shirahoshi for some rainbow orbs for the entire fight. Works out really, really nicely. And then for the final fight, you just want to use Jack to get around the attack down. And then you can use Ace as an attack booster here as well. On to Black Maria, the mini-boss fight. As you can see, we are using the boosted units, but we do have a bunch of supports to help us out with some of the mini-boss stages. On stage 2, to get around the attack down, and the despair, we're going to be using support. So as you can see, there's 5 turns of attack down, 7 turns of despair. We're going to use Smoothie, Cat Viper, and Tashigi to get around the attack down. Because you get a full board of block orbs, Smoothie actually works on Big Mom, which is very, very handy. And then you actually can get around the despair with Ulti and Opera as well. It works out super, super hunky-dory. With the super type, also super class of Jinbei, you get around the threshold. And then on the final stage against Black Maria, we can get around the special binds with one of the boosters. I'm pretty sure Chopper gets around the special binds. Jinbei gets around the damage reduction. To get around the defense up, we have page 1. To get around the attack down, I'm pretty sure this Sanji can get around. Oh, sorry, the Chopper gets around the attack down too, right? Chopper gets around attack down. He gets around the special binds. He gives cooldowns. Yeah, does all that fun stuff. He also gets around paralysis. We have orbs with page 1. We have pretty much all of our damage here with Sanji, actually, if I'm completely honest. He basically does all of that fun stuff there, provided you are blinded in some way. And then we have the chain boundary of Jinbei. You just have to use your Jinbei on turn 2, and then use the other Jinbei on turn 3, which we'll obviously be bringing. On to the Who's Who invasion. This one's pretty straightforward, because Jinbei is just so good for this. Bringing Jinbei basically covers you for middle left, bottom left paralysis. Yeah, so it's so weird. It's just only 2 units that get paralyzed. Jinbei covers you for that for this first fight here. You do get a full board of badly matching slots. But I think you can actually get around that with Big Mom here. Big Mom gives you a full board of tandem slots off the top of my head. Honestly, I can't even really remember. Off the top of my head, I think she does. Yeah, she gives you a full board of tandem orbs. And then she gives you a conditional boost, which is great. And then you can get cooldowns with this Otama. And she gives slot effects. She also locks slots. But on the final stage, I think you get badly matching orbs again. So that's a bit of a yikes. However, we can easily just use the Tesoro support. Where is he? I thought like Guild Tesoro worked on any Psy character. I'll have to look that one up, or I might actually need to max that support out. But basically, we have the recommended characters here. I think one of these guys actually makes in-orbs beneficial, right? Maybe it's Sanji, but I just don't have him liver break expand. Like, he doesn't have liver breaking yet. So look, it is what it is. But as you can see, the recommended characters, they're going to give us the maximum amount of points. But that's going to wrap up the video anyway, homies. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure to go down there and belt the like button for me. If you're new to the channel, or you haven't done so already, hit that big red subscribe button. Most importantly, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, I thank you for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one.